Betrayal doesn't strike like a sudden blow. No, it seeps in slowly, quietly like a gas leak, silent, unnoticed until it sparks. That's how I learned the truth about Nancy and me. We were married for 6 years. The first 3 were everything I'd hoped for. Mornings together, shared laughter, movie nights that stretched into the early hours. But somewhere along the way, things began to change. Not all at once, but gradually, imperceptibly. Nancy got promoted at work. Bigger paychecks, more responsibility, longer hours. I didn't ask for details. I supported her always. When she'd rush out the door to attend a big meeting, I'd ask how it went. She'd mumble huge, without even looking back. Her mornings grew shorter, her touch colder. Those genuine smiles, the kind that once belonged to us, became a rare thing. And I saw them mostly when she was glued to her phone, typing away. I kept up with the household chores, stayed quiet about the distance growing between us. Then came the baby question. We'd been trying for a while, but she stopped tracking her cycles. Doctor appointments were canceled. When I asked her if she still wanted to have children, her response was an indifferent shrug. Let's not force it. That hit me harder than I expected. It wasn't the exhaustion or the practical reasons that stung. It was the feeling that she was already checked out, but hadn't left yet. But just when I thought we were too far gone, something shifted. One night, she brought home takeout from my favorite place. She kissed me, said, "I missed you," and curled up beside me in bed warm, like we hadn't been so distant for months. I should have questioned it, but I was too starved for her affection to ask why. For 4 days she was different. Engaged, affectionate, laughing at silly things. She left little notes in my lunch, sent texts saying she was thinking of me. It felt like the old Nancy had returned. One evening she cooked dinner. The table was set, candles flickering. I couldn't hold back. What changed? I asked her. She paused, eyes searching for the right words. I was lost in my head, pulling away. I don't want to lose you. It felt rehearsed, but I wanted so badly to believe her. Weeks passed. Laundry folded. Coffee made. Kisses at the door. And then one night, she sat me down with shaking hands, holding a pregnancy test. It was positive. I froze. We hadn't been trying. I smiled, said all the right things, but in the back of my mind, doubt was already creeping in. Is it mine? She wanted to wait for the first scan before telling anyone, citing caution. I agreed, though it wasn't out of care. The timing seemed too perfect. I began to notice things. Her phone never left her side. The passcode was changed. Calls were silenced before I could even hear them ring. It wasn't enough for me to confront her yet, but it was enough to make me start watching. I called her sister, Maya, one morning. "How's Nancy been?" I asked casually. "Distant," Maya said, shrugging. "Work's been tough." I pressed her. "Anyone she talks about?" Maya hesitated. "Curtis, her manager. She used to talk about him all the time, meetings, stories. But lately nothing." The name Curtis had slipped from Nancy's lips before, always casual. But it was always there. Now it was gone. You don't erase someone from your life like that unless you're hiding something. That night I couldn't sleep. I rummaged through the house, finding her old tablet tucked away in a closet box. I took it to a tech shop the next morning and asked them to recover any deleted files. An hour later, it was back in my hands. I scrolled through messages, photos, plans with Curtis, and then I found it. A message from a month earlier. "I'm late. You sure it's not his? We haven't touched in weeks." And then, "It's yours." My heart dropped. Everything suddenly made sense. Her affection, the intimacy, the sudden reconnection, it wasn't love. It was a cover-up. An alibi. A story she could sell if questions ever came up. The anger I felt started to dissolve into something more resolute. I wasn't going to scream or beg. I'd end it, and she would face the truth in front of everyone. I planned everything carefully. Over dinner, I suggested a baby shower, small and intimate, just for close friends and family. Nancy lit up. "You'd plan that?" she asked, smiling. "I'd love it," she added, squeezing my hand, oblivious. I agreed, smiling too. "Let's keep it simple. You deserve it." I picked themes, emailed decorators, and pretended to be excited about the cake. But secretly, I was also working with a lawyer, compiling evidence, screenshots, messages, timelines. We drafted the divorce papers, citing adultery and deception. The night before the shower, I printed the key texts and tucked them in an envelope. The morning of the shower, I set the tables, greeted guests, and played the role of the dutiful husband. Nancy glowed beside me, her hand resting on her belly as she smiled for photos. She called me babe, her voice light and affectionate. At one point, someone asked me to say something. I stepped forward, took a breath, and said, "It's special to celebrate this, even if things aren't what they seem." The room fell silent. Nancy laughed nervously, not knowing where this was going. I pulled out the envelope and handed it to her. "The truth," I said flatly. Her fingers trembled as she read through the first pages of divorce papers, texts, and timelines. Her face drained of color. Her eyes locked on the message where she confessed the baby was Curtis's, not mine. The room went still. The air was thick with disbelief. "Trevor," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Read it," I said, my tone unyielding. She didn't move. I turned to the crowd, my voice steady. "The child isn't mine. It's her boss's. The one she's been with for over a year." Gasps rippled through the room. Chairs scraped against the floor. Nancy stepped toward me, her voice pleading. "Please, not like this." "I'm done talking," I said, backing away. "I'll leave now." I looked at her parents, stunned in the corner, then turned back to her. "I hope he shows up for you," I said, cold. "I won't." And I walked out. I booked a hotel that night, turning off my phone. By morning, the voicemails were already piling up. Friends, Maya, Nancy. But I didn't care. Days later, I returned home to find her gone. Her clothes, her photos, everything gone. No note. Nothing. The house felt hollow, like the storm had finally passed, and everything had settled into stillness. The divorce went through quickly. She signed without a fight. Maya later told me that Nancy was staying with a friend struggling. "She's sorry," Maya said. I shook my head. "She's sorry I caught her," I muttered. Months later, I moved to a smaller place. I started hiking. I hit the gym. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was peaceful. Friends checked in. I told them I was fine and I was. Winning wasn't about exposing her or getting revenge. It was about leaving with my peace. No anger. No resentment. Just distance. Sometimes that's enough. And as I crossed that bridge alone, steady in my own steps, I never looked back.